Our purpose for this labor and justice rally, this labor justice rally, is being held today to respond to the wrongful termination of the clerk of the Shreveport City Council, Attorney Shanerica Flemings, on Tuesday, September the 12th, 2023, by a 4-3 yes vote of the Shreveport City Council, with council members Brooks, Bowman, Telefaro, and Butcher voting to terminate. Though Louisiana is an at-will right-to-work state, there are laws and policies that govern the firing of employees. And no employee, and I mean no employee, can be fired based on racial discrimination, gender discrimination, religious discrimination, and definitely not their refusal to sexual advances. This is what Attorney Shanerica Fleming alleged this past week, and that's why we're here. It is most abhorrent as it relates to Councilman Telefaro and Councilman Butcher, because both of them advocate against domestic violence. They advocate against sexual harassment, and interestingly enough, a piece of legislation was just authored earlier this year in concert with Councilman Butcher against sexual assault. So it's just very interesting that an employee would respond in the brave and courageous way that Shanerica did this past Tuesday, and still have two council members who purport to advance the cause of females and women regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment still vote to terminate her employment. Therefore, our demands today, we have 5 of them. Number 1, the immediate resignations of council members Gary Brooks and Ursula Bowman. Number 2, the immediate resignation of Ralph Johnson as the Public Relations Director for the Shreveport City Council. And let me be very clear on this resignation, because part of what happened this past week, it was stated that by Council Member Bowman that there was an issue that she had with Shanerica, who is Ralph Johnson's superior, giving him an unfavorable rating regarding his work performance. I want it to be stated on record, Ralph Johnson should have never been in this job to begin with. I offered legislation to bring forth the creation of 7 assistants to each council member earlier this year, and based on a political hire, Ralph Johnson, who is the president of the local Democratic Party, which is already a conflict, was given that job, and that should have never happened. Therefore, he needs to be terminated as well. Number 3, a local, state, and federal investigation of Gary Brooks regarding the allegations made by Attorney Shanerica Flemings that was where she was asked to draft legislation that would adversely impact an African-American business, Club Hayes, to benefit his white business associate, Tim Huck, owner of the Sandbar. And if you are familiar with this situation, you'll know there's been some ongoing chitter between Tim Huck and the managers of Club Hayes, Mr. Pat Brown. And to also uncover details as to Ms. Fleming's other allegations concerning Gary Brooks's business dealings with drug dealers in his business venture known as the Styles Bar. A federal investigation a few years ago resulted in the arrest, conviction, and incarceration of several individuals involved in the drug trade associated with Gary's business. However, Gary Brooks did not go to jail. I wonder why. But I know Shreveport is not racist. Number 4, the creation of the Department of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion to oversee all aspects of hiring employees, awarding of public sector contracts, board appointments, etc. And lastly, we are requesting and urging any individual, regardless of gender, but especially our most vulnerable, who happen to be African American females and females of other ethnicities, who can prove sexual harassment and intimidation, to come forward and contact me so that we can help you secure the proper protection and legal representation. That is our statement, and now we will have our speakers